Hey guys, Wrestling Rebels 89 back again with another reaction video today. This time a little bit different. So it's not just Stone Cold talking himself, but he's interviewing Hulk Hogan. So I'll be reacting to Hulk Hogan talking about Roddy Piper refusing to put him over. Now Hulk Hogan's known for his tall tales, so I'm curious what he has to say about Hot Rod here. So without wasting any more time, let's get started.
Yourself. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, but what a lot of people don't understand is you have to take care of the other guy more than yourself, and what a lot of people don't realize about this business, and there's just two quick points I'm going to say is
Okay.
first off, this business was a little tough for me when I went to New York when I beat the Sheik, because to me it was a shoot and this business was not a work. Anytime a man makes, like if I wrestle you and you make more money than me, that's a shoot. I want your spot.
Well,
And
Hulk
when I
cares
went
about his
back to
money.
work in 84, Vince Sr. always paid the champion more money. And that was a shoot to me. You know, if we're all doing jobs and it doesn't matter if you win or lose, we make the same amount of money. It's a work. But when someone's making more money, to me, that's a shoot. So when I went back and Vince took over, I tried to hold him to that as long as I could.
What a
That the
surprise.
champion always makes more money. So that was one of the things, that I fought for. The other thing that I fought for on top of that, which I lost that battle eventually, then I hung on for a long time. The other thing I fought for was making sure whoever I worked with, whether they beat me or whether it was a DQ or they did a job, they were worth more money going out than they were going in. And one of the things to keep myself alive in that warrior, like I had to go to people like the One Man Gang. And what people don't realize is when I was working with Vince, if I went to the Philadelphia Spectrum and I said, hey, Roddy, Vince wants to beat you with a leg drop, or hey, Orndorff, Vince wants me to do the leg drop, they said, I'm not doing a fucking job today. Well, there was no control like it is now. I'd call Vince back, say, hey, Vince, I know you want me to beat Piper, but he doesn't want to do a job today. Well, goddamn it, work it out. I said, okay. So it was a wild, wild west back then.
That's
So I had
true.
to sit down with these guys and on a camaraderie level and get along with them. And if they didn't want to put me over, I said, well, what else can we do to make this work? And the last thing I want is someone else coming in here and taking your place and making this main event money, because we were going to come back for 2 and 3. So since you don't want to do that finish, what can we do to make this work? And throw it back at them. Since you don't want to put me over, you don't want to DQ. Sometimes the Hulk Hogan thing, I hate to say this, but the Hulkmania thing was over so strong. I could beat you, and as I was posing, if you'd come back and ground me and I'd get some color, we'd sell out again, just for you jumping me after the fact. So I would always throw it back at these guys with the finishes that didn't want to do jobs for me. Piper never did a job for me. And years later, we became good friends, and I stuck it up his ass going, can you imagine how much money you'd have made, Piper, if I could have trusted you to flip the belt like Nacho? And he'd go, and Piper, and God damn it, you know how he'd get it. But I would always tease Piper later on in life because he would never put me over. I said, if you'd put me over, can you imagine? I could have kept putting the belt on you 4 or 5 times, flipping it back and forth, and I was doing movies, you were doing movies, but you never got the belt because you wouldn't do a job. So I always would take care of the guys. So when I was doing the warrior thing and he wanted to go home early, I had to take care of myself because I'm putting him over. And one of the things I really needed was to kick out of his finish to show that I'm still Hulk Hogan. And then when you beat me, you're really beating a bigger monster because I've kicked out of your finish. And then you come back and beat me. It's going to be good for you, but it helps me too. So my whole mindset the whole time I worked with plan A, plan B, or plan C, like I talked about, the Hulk Hogan finishes, were to protect my opponents so I could come back and draw money with them. I'd go like to the Garden with Randy Savage 3-4 times in a row and sell the place out 3-4 times in a row just with Randy because he would do the right thing.
See, that's the problem with Hulk Hogan, because if you take it for what it's worth on the surface level, a lot of what he says makes perfect sense and would be great for business. But you can tell that Hulk Hogan's just always lying and always has an ulterior motive. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Hulk Hogan an awful lot when I was young, but it's undeniable that he always goes into business for himself. The classic, that doesn't work for me, brother, of course, became a meme and a cliche. He used it so much with his creative control. He said about Roddy Piper wouldn't lose to him, and he could have flipped the belt back and forth. That would have never happened. Hulk Hogan would have got his win over Piper and then either never wrestled him again, or just refused to wrestle unless he went over. Or even the example he gave, look how he's subconsciously trying to make it sound like it's good for you. but it's actually good for him. Like saying he wanted to kick out of your finisher because it would make it better when you beat him with it in the end. But that would have never happened. He would have kicked out your finisher, buried your finisher, and you would have never got it back over again. Because that's just who Hulk Hogan is and was. I'll give him credit. He's really good at BSing, and he can be quite convincing. If you didn't know what a big liar he already was, you could probably fall for it. So I don't just mean this whole reaction to be shitting on Hulk Hogan, but the way he was talking about Roddy Piper just kind of annoyed me. Roddy Piper is a legend, and he was really smart about the business, so I think Piper did the right thing. And Hogan tried to make it sound like he did the wrong thing, and that's just kind of irritating. But yeah, rant over. Sorry about that. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and click the notifications bell if you haven't already for more daily reaction videos and wrestling news. This is Wrestling Rambles 89, signing off.